Welcome back to more of our conversation, Hear Us Now, the official after show here on goodhousekeeping.com. Now, I saw a video that really moved me. It was actually on Facebook showing several police officers taking a very strong stance and saying in their own words that George Floyd was murdered. Take a look.
I am disgusted with the things that happened in Minneapolis.
The man was murdered.
It was murder.
George Floyd being murdered.
Guilty of murder, because that's what that was.
An officer is going to stand there and not help when things go wrong? Come on, like, you don't see that? That's the reason I got behind this badge, right? Because I want them officers that's afraid to step up, I want to be the one to step up. If I see wrong happening, wrong is not happening in my presence, right? I'm going to check it, and that's period.
Jaquay, we saw you in that video. You are a police officer in North Carolina. You put a lot on the line by putting your view out there on social media. You were reprimanded. What happened after your superiors saw that?
So when I first put the video out, I was on patrol. I seen the video, and I mean, it was a no-brainer. So I put the video out. I had a decent platform on TikTok. So I was like, let me just push it out, so they can hear me. 4 hours later, I get a call from Internal Affairs, and they say, I remember the phone call. I picked the phone. I'm like, hello. And they're like, Williams, you know where Internal Affairs are. Get over here now. And I'm just like, okay. So mind you, as I'm driving there, I already know what it's for. So when I get into the building, before I got into the building, I prayed, and I was just like, God, whatever you got for me, when I step up there, just, let it be for me. If it's not for me, take it away. I don't care. I get up there, I see one of my co-workers coming down. He kind of briefed me, and he's like, look, I think it's about just TikTok in general or whatever, having videos in your uniform, whatever the case was. So I said, okay. So I get upstairs to the 5th floor, and I come in. It's the captain of Internal Affairs there, and the captain of Internal Affairs, and it's another guy there. I can't remember. Maybe a sergeant. So they say, you know why you here? So we start talking about it, and they was like, well, look, we got a social media policy. At first, it was a broad speech. It was about social media in general, putting your, posting videos in your uniform on social media. So, and then it was like, so I was like, yeah, I remember, stuff like that, but they don't know the department I'm in. I'm not saying anything, crazy or anything like that. And they're just like, well, do you remember this email? And I'm like, yeah. So they basically, like, as I'm trying to talk, they like, don't try to basically fight it. This is the email. This is already set in stone, whatever the case was. So they was like, I need you to remove the videos. If you can, remove the videos. Actually, he said, I recommend that you remove the videos. So I said, okay. It was real short. I get downstairs, and I started to remove the videos to put them on private and stuff like that. And before I even got to that video, because I had so many videos up there, before I even got to that video, a couple of bigger blogs messaged me, and they was like, well, we're posting this video. This is what's going to happen. And I'm just like, it's whatever God had for me, So the video got out there, and the video took off, and I'm glad because it moved officers to start to talk about it. Like, that was the whole point of it, was raising that. One, I'm a black man, always going to be a black man, no matter the color of the uniform, no matter the uniform that I'm in, I'm always going to be a black man. So for you to feel like you could try and silence me because I have a certain position, it won't happen. My morals are not swayed by the position that I'm in. It's not going to happen. We're not going to do that. So, and that was my whole thing coming into policing. I was like, let me get behind this badge to get in front of this badge. Because if we sit from the outside and we just keep saying, like, this need to change, this need to change. I remember when I had that light bulb moment, it was after the Trayvon Martin verdict. We were at my father's-in-law 50th birthday. And we were there. It was a bunch of people. The verdict came out, not guilty. So now I'm hugging my wife and her 3 sisters because everybody is crying. And all I could think to myself was like, how do we get in front of this? This is happening over and over and over. How do we get in part of this thing. Like, so it's like I said, instead of just, from the outside looking in, just saying, doing what we're doing outside, I'm like, what if I get in the inside and kind of make things go haywire, interrupt things, so I can figure out why this is happening, why they're doing this, and also bridge that gap between.
I want to bring up something because it's been on my heart and my mind. Is this notion that, that you can't. I often tell people you can be pro-supporting the police and anti-police brutality. The notion that your black skin means you don't support police, I've just always found to be insane, just as the case of being in the military, where my father was in the military for 30 years. Because you protest the injustices that you see in America does not mean that no one in your family has ever put on a uniform to protect the country. And that's what I think is so fascinating about the two of you. You've taken on the uniform and the uniform that God gave you, which is your black skin. And that does not complicate you in either category. So for you as a police officer, I think about folks like you when I see the black officers, at the rallies and in the police departments where these things happen, because you can support the police and be anti-police brutality. It's that simple. So Jaquay, how did this, in the end, did it change your relationship with some of the officers in the department?
The guys that I work around with in policing, we have this term, it's called squared away, right? That's a good person. They check out. So the guys that I work around with in my area is 4 districts. Each district got a zone. Each district got 3 zones, and then each district has 3 shifts or whatnot. So the 9 guys that I work around with, and then the overlapping shifts, those guys are squared away, white, black, green, yellow. They're squared away. I think me being so vocal coming in from the door, it kind of opened that window up for them to start to learn and try to understand what is going on, so they become more empathetic with the things that's going on, because we work in a predominantly black neighborhood. So it's imperative for the white officers in that neighborhood to empathize with the black people of that neighborhood, because that trauma that black person is dealing with when you go to a call with them is not the trauma from that day. This is trauma from before. This is trauma from, you could pinpoint things. This is trauma from growing up in a house without a dad, trauma from coming into the house and seeing drugs and guns on the table, or just the way the neighborhood is. This is the trauma. All that stuff builds up. And so that day that you're dealing with them, that they got into a car accident and they're a little bit upset that somebody hit their car, but they see a white officer come over there and then they deal with you a certain way, you have to understand, wait, let me step back for a minute. Let me empathize with them, because this is the conversation that we need to have. Let me empathize with them so I can understand just a little bit of where they might be coming from and why they might, act out like this. Is not just what happened that day. This is the things that happened previously.
Well, the conversation continues here. We want to hear from you. Go to our social media and tell us how you're feeling. Use the hashtag TamronHearUsNow.